So we're going to continue on with 17.1, and now we're on page 806 and 807. So now we're going to look at classifying polynomials. So a polynomial can be a monomial or the sum of monomials. Polynomials are classified by the number of terms they contain. A monomial is one term, a binomial has two terms, a trinomial has three terms. So 8x y squared minus 5x cubed y cubed z, for example, is a binomial. So we have our first term here, and we have our second term here. Polynomials are also classified by their degree. The degree of a polynomial is the greatest value among the sums of the exponents of the variables in each term. So the binomial 8xy squared minus 5x cubed y cubed z has two terms. The variables in the first term are x and y. The exponent on x is 1, and the exponent on y is 2. The number 8 is not a variable, so it has a degree of 0. The first term has a degree of 0 plus 1 plus 2, which equals 3. The degree of the second term is 0 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, which is equal to 7. Therefore, 8xy squared minus 5x cubed y cubed z is a 7th degree binomial. Okay? Let's try that again, binomial. So now we're going to do the example, and we're going to look at classifying each polynomial by its degree and the number of terms. And so for the first one, go ahead and just watch. So we have 7x squared minus 5x cubed y cubed. So we automatically know that we have our first term, we have our second term, which is going to make it a binomial, right? If we remember correctly, binomials have two terms. Okay, so find the degree of each term by adding the exponents of the variables in that term. The greatest degree is the degree of the polynomial. The degree of the term negative 5x cubed y cubed is 6, because we have 3 plus 3, which gives us 6, which you obtain by adding the exponents of x and y. 6 equals 3 plus 3. Numbers have degrees of 0. So our 5 here would have a degree of 0. Okay, so our highest degree is going to be 6. And we have 7x squared, which has a degree of 2. So we know that 6 is definitely greater than 2. And so our degree is going to be 6. So we will have a 6th degree binomial. Okay, so make sure that you guys are writing this down with me. And we're going to continue on, and we're going to do part B. So we have 3 squared plus 2n cubed plus 8n. Well, if I look at all of the dashes that I have here, I'm going to see that I have 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, which is automatically going to give me a trinomial, okay, because we know that there are 3 terms. 3 squared plus 2n cubed plus 8n. Well, let's go ahead and add up those degrees. So 3 squared has a degree of 0. 2n cubed has a degree of 3, and 8n has a degree of 1. So why does 3 squared have a degree of 0? Well, 3 squared is just saying 3 times 3, which is going to give us 9. And we know that numbers don't have a degree, okay? Or they have a degree of 0. So our greatest degree is going to be 3, and so we have a 3rd degree trinomial. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at number 3 right here. So what is the degree of 5x to the 0, y to the 0 plus 5? Well, 5x to the 0, y to the 0 plus 5 is going to give me 5 times 1 plus 5. Okay, well, how did we get 1? Well, we know that anytime we have x to the 0, y to the 0, it gives us 1. Or, like we just did, 9 to the 0 will also give us 1. Okay, so 5 times 1 is going to give me 5. 5 times 1 is going to give me 5. 5 plus 5 is going to give us 10. Okay, so the degree on 10 is 0. Okay, is 5x to the 0, y to the 0.5 plus 5 a polynomial? Justify your answer. And so if we think back, we know that variables have to have whole number exponents. 0.5 is actually just 1/2, and we know that 1/2 is a fraction, not a whole number. So with that information, this cannot be a polynomial because y has an exponent of 1/2. Okay, and so let's go ahead and classify let's go with number 6. Okay, so I'm going to have 8ab squared, and so we have 8, which has a degree of 0. We have a, which has a degree of 1, and we have b, which has a degree of 2. And so if we go in and we add our exponents, we have 2 plus 1 plus 0, which gives us 3. And if I look at this term here, I have 3 to the 0, a squared, b to the 1, which is, if we go in and add our exponents up, we have 0 plus 2 plus 1. And so our highest degree is going to be 3. So we would have a third degree binomial, because again, I have 2 terms, which is where we get binomial. Okay?